because this is oddly and uniquely important to my community, based on the video game The Last of Us, which actually has moderate accessibility on PlayStation, should you choose to play it, comes the TV series, which is a lot like The Walking Dead. Hi, I'm John Stark from MacMovieGuy.com, and this is my review slash recap of The Last of Us. Season 1, Episode 1, the pilot episode. That means I'm going to start into The Last of Us, unless this gets 0 views, in which case I'll just pretend this never happened and I'll go cry in a corner. But, I feel like this is a big enough franchise. Like, I started doing Wednesday because I was like, I think there's demand for that. Plus, thank God they only dropped 1 episode, so I can actually be up to date on this. I hate when they do the 2 episode drop, and I'm like behind an episode every week. Oh God. I did say I'm a blind film critic. I hope so. Anyway, yeah. So I think it's the sequel that actually has audio description. The Last of Us 2 has a level where you can has a level of audio description with it on the PlayStation, where you can actually blind people can actually play the game. So I think maybe people in the blind and visually impaired community would be more excited about this show than some others, because they're like, oh, I played the game. It's one of the only games that mainstream people have made for us, allowed us to play. Oh man, the day that they start figuring out how to do video games, like major video games for people, like Fortnite and Call of Duty and Rocket League, and it's over. Overwatch, Grand Theft Auto. Like, blind people can get in those games and play them. Uh, I don't know. I may be out of a job. So yeah, Pedro Pascal is in now 2 series that are obviously massive hits. I don't even need to know the ratings for this to assume that this will have huge ratings. HBO gave it a huge push promotionally. It's based on a franchise. It's been getting solid reviews, and yeah, its premiere was even longer. They even like let it be like a movie. It's like a mini movie. So, yep, Pedro Pascal is killing the game. He's out there just murdering it. Um, and now he has to murder plant zombies. I don't know what to call them. this feel this Plants versus Zombies the game. No, except I mean I don't know. They're like zombies, but they're like infected with fungus, so they have these tendrils. It's weird. I guess I never. It was a PlayStation exclusive, and when I could see, I was an Xbox person. So this was one of those games where I was always like, "Oh, I would play that if it ever came to Xbox," and it never did. So sadly, this was like the one title that I kept saying, maybe I'll get a PlayStation so I can play The Last of Us. That never happened. Um, I don't know, just never did. I just stuck with Xbox, and now I don't know anything about the video games, so I can't comment on whether or not. Oh, that and Uncharted too. Same thing. I gave Uncharted a positive review because I never played the video game. Uh, the PlayStation video games, they, they're gonna get past me. I'm not gonna have any comments on whether or not they're like the video game or not. Um, but this starts off brilliantly, um, with a little girl, and we're like, oh my god, this girl, she's awesome. I got really connected with that girl, and I had not having known The Last of Us, but only knowing it's about like the 2 main characters are like a guy and a young girl, and not being able to see, and I didn't IMDb it in advance to see what is the name of the character Bella Ramsey is playing. Um, I wasn't really prepared for the transition. I wasn't really prepared for the that whole sequence. Um, and the whole setup and the story. I wasn't prepared for that to be backstory that sets up Pedro Pascal's character, but that was really all it was. Um, and but I mean, that girl was awesome, you know. Um, Probably needed to watch a few more horror movies, like Door to the House, Wide Open. You're calling people's names, no one's answering. At best, there's a robber that broke in the house and is in there murdering everybody. So leave? You know, it's just sometimes characters in shows just have to be able to make smarter decisions than that. So, I mean, she didn't make, obviously, her dad just didn't let her watch scary movies. So she was like, this feels like totally natural to me. I'm just going to enter this dark, creepy house with the door wide open when it normally wouldn't be at this hour of the night. I'm just going to enter. Wow, that's weird. There's like a leash in the middle of the floor. Feels totally like it's supposed to be there. I'm just gonna keep going in the house and keep saying names until somebody answers. Like, cool. Yeah, we have we have to write horror movie characters better. I don't think anybody would do that. I think you'd call in, and when no one responded, you'd be like, "Fuck," and you pull out your stuff. You'd be like, "Hey, 911. Yeah, we got something going on here." But yeah, that was just a really long opening sequence to introduce us to Pedro Pascal's Joel, and and also, I guess, his brother to some extent. I didn't know which one was Pedro Pascal. You know, that's weird. I actually couldn't pick up on his voice. But what's funny is, like, about halfway through the episode, I finally heard The Mandalorian, and I was like, "Oh, there he is." And I realized it was him, and I was like, I'm stupid. I need to be able to pick up Pedro Pascal's voice quicker than that. Bella Ramsey, only thing I'm familiar with her from is Catherine Called Birdie, and she used a British accent there, so I wasn't expecting to be able to pick up her accent here. Anyway, but we are introduced to this sort of DMZ zone of Boston, and I just said zone twice because that's what the Z in DMZ is. Anyway, anyway, oh, it's like saying CGI images. So, yeah, they live in this military-controlled Boston. Those that have survived the plant people, those that survived M. Night Shyamalan's The Happening, are living in this demilitarized zone, and they have. I guess nobody remembered to have cash because they have like a new way of having cash where they like, I don't know, it's like notes or tokens, or I don't know how else to explain it. It's weird. It's like, did you guys not, is there not money anywhere? Do you guys not have, we minted a whole lot of it. Did we lose it all? Did the zombies eat it? Anyway, I mean, I think it's cool that you came up with your own stuff, but did you want to try to like neutralize so that people couldn't enter the new world rich? Was that it? I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, obviously, like, things are a little bit different. You know, you don't have Wi-Fi anymore, and people can't access that Swiss bank account. But there's a movement. They're called the Fireflies, and they're all about like freedom, and they stand up to these DMZs, and you know, they're trying to free the people from military rule. And where does our man Joel sit? Well, our man Joel, as we've leapt 20 years into the future, that's a lot of time. I mean, I know why we did it, because we had to create Bella Ramsey's character. But that's a lot of time to age or de-age Pedro Pascal. He can't look the same. He can't just go 20 years and be like that, you know. So I don't know what his starting age was. I mean, it would have had to at least been, like, what is he, in his 50s now? He's got to be in his 50s, right? Because 20 years ago, he had a daughter that was, like, I don't know, like, let's do the math together. Let's say that girl was 14 or 15, which I think she was. She was somewhere around there. So let's say there's no backstory about the mother. So let's give it like, I don't know, 20. Let's say by 20, add 14 years onto that. That's 34. Add 20 because of the time jump. That's 54. Even if you back it off a little bit, like 2 years or 3 years or whatever, and try to say that he had her in high school, he's still 50. Like, Pedro Pascal is still, there's no way to play him under 50 right now. So he's got to be at least above 50. He might even be a little older than that. It just depends on the backstory of when his character, Joel, originally got with the wife we didn't see and had his daughter. So, yeah, it's kind of an interesting concept to think of in a casting of Pedro Pascal. Like, I didn't know there was going to be a 20-year time jump. So you got to cast somebody, I think, who looks old. And I don't remember Pedro Pascal looking old to me. But then again, you know, I would have put him in his 40s. Maybe they're putting some gray in his hair. Who knows? But at least he can handle the action sequences that he has to handle. So he has a girl. A girlfriend. I don't know how long that's gonna last, because I swear that PlayStation series is 2 people. But that's what I think the problem with this TV series is going to be, is accumulating characters who are not Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey, and doing so in a way that doesn't piss off video game fans, but also finds a natural way of doing it over time, because you cannot just, I mean, it's cool for a video game because it makes you, because you're playing this guy that has to protect this girl, right? Like, so it's like, oh my God, this is a plot. But like in television show, long form, multiple season format, when you keep losing, it means every character you meet after that is expendable. Like, no one you meet will ever make it past that point if you don't change your format. The show suddenly is no longer interesting. So they have to almost, they have to change that concept of only he can do it, and have other people join them and be a little bit more like The Walking Dead. I'm not saying it has to be a massive group, but if they don't keep someone around, then it's going to be this thing where every character you meet, you're going to go, well, they're not Pedro Pascal and they're not Bella Ramsey, so they're not going to be on the show for very long. Which is a problem for long term, because then there's no suspense. You're just waiting for the shoe to drop. So it's a tough place for the show to be in. I'm glad to talk about it, but I think I dodged most of the major plot twists. I mean, I may have hinted at some of them, but yeah, I left it out there. I think you guys should watch this. It's got really good audio description, especially in the beginning, when the girl is doing a lot of things and there's no reason for her to talk to anybody. She's like walking around the house a lot. I noticed a whole lot of like really descriptive things about her. You know, when she's thumbing through the cash and she finds like a pocket knife, and she's got her dad's watch, and There was a really good description of her bedroom at the beginning about being all pink and just like that kind of thing. Um, yeah, so they've described sort of these fungus zombies pretty well. I don't know what to call them. I'm going to call them plant zombies, probably the plant zombies. um, but yeah, it's got some good audio description. So um, I'm excited. I like the show. I watched 10 shows the day that I watched this. This was one of the 10, not 10 other shows. 10 shows total the whole day. And this is my favorite show that I watched all day long. And the other shows I'd been watching, well, everything but one other show. Only one other show was its first episode. So, yeah, 8 shows I'd been watching, and Last of Us, I thought the premiere was a great way to start the ball rolling. My only concern moving forward is that if they go and follow the video game format and try to appease the people who play the video game, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It works when you're playing a video game because you know that that's what your task is, and you're not expecting AI characters to join you. There aren't other controllers that you can hand to your friends so that they can play like, hey, this is Buck. He just joined us. You know? So the limited amount of characters is purposeful. If you think about Left 4 Dead, for example, like that's 4 people. It's 4 people because it's a 4-player game. Like that's all it is. So it doesn't mean there couldn't be more people in a Left 4 Dead series or movie. Like you could only have those 4 people. It does kind of mess with the title Left 4 Dead when it was spelled the letter 4. But you could at least start out with more and work down to those 4. But you have to be a little bit more creative, because if the show just turns out to be Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey and everything they touch dies, I just don't know how interesting that's going to be. So, yeah, we'll see. But for this episode, I'm going to give it an A. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And I also have a website, MacTheMovieGuy.com. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at MacTheMovieGuy. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acp.org. It'll let you know what has audio description and where you can watch it. And you can go to the adna.org. That's the adna.org. And it'll let you know who's doing the narration for your favorite films and television shows. That's it for me today. And I will review something else and see you guys on the other side.